this is Lori from Shoo Shoo Paper Art. I'm so glad you're joining me today for this Valentine project. This is a cute little heart-shaped box that is perfect for Valentine's. It will hold, well, it can hold candy hearts, but it'll also hold 3 chocolate candies. And my candies didn't have a wrapper around them except for this one. So I used these little mini cupcake wrappers that are really cute. That red foil is really fun. And it will hold 3. So that's pretty cool. Now this heart box is made a little bit differently. You don't have all the tabs and folding under. I have found that this ends up looking a little bit better for me. So you can use this heart box with any hearts to make the box. Like if you have a die cut heart, you could certainly do that. If you want to use this little vintage girl as the top of your heart box, then you'll want a heart that she will cover and that is kind of almost the same shape as she is. So if you want to use her and get a pattern, you can do that. I'll have the link to my blog where you can download this and the templates for the top and bottom. Now you can't tell a lot of difference between the top and the bottom heart, but there is a little bit. The top is just a little bit bigger so that it will go over the top of the bottom box. And there's also a little bonus project on here. You can see this little piece here. So what I did with that is turned her into kind of what she was originally meant for, which is a little stand. I don't know if you can see that or not, but she stands up. I can't get that very good view of that, but oh, you can see a picture of it. And on the back, I put that little extra piece across because she's cut out of it and it left kind of a weird opening here. So let me see if I can turn that up and show you. Can you see where the cut lines are? I cut that out to get to it, and then I just taped that up and put that little piece on there and decorate it with a little bit of Lawn Fawn goodies. So anyway, that's a bonus project if you would like to do that. So let's get started on the heart box. I have used my template and cut out red cardstock paper hearts. This is a stack of 4 of those. This is 100-pound paper. I like the sturdiness of 4, and it also gives you a nice little shelf there to attach the side walls of your heart. And that's where the no tabs comes in. So you're going to cut 4 for the top and 4 for the bottom. And if you cut them at the same time, you'll want to keep track of which are the top and which are the bottom so that the top will go over the bottom of the box. Don't ask me how I know that. I have made that mistake in the past. So like I said, this is 4 glued together, and then you're going to need 4 1-inch strips cut at 5 inches long, and they will need to be curved. So just take a pen or a pencil or some such thing and give that a pull, and I would go ahead and give that a really good rounding, and then you will be ready to attach it to the heart. It's going to slip in here and come around just like that. All right, I recommend having a piece of I usually use like a scrap paper or maybe even a catalog page, but I forgot to do that, so this is kind of what's hanging around down here. So we'll use this. I also recommend using the Aleene's tacky glue because it gives you time to get all the way around before the glue is dry, and it also seems to stay very well attached. This box was made weeks ago and it still looks really good. There's no gaps along the sides or anything like that. So this ends up being a really good glue for this project. And I'm just going to run glue all the way around that edge. And I'm just going to start on one side. Now you don't have to worry too much about it getting on the bottom or on the top because you're going to be covering the bottom anyway. And I have found that when it dries, it doesn't show too much anyway. Here is one that I have one side on and it's already dry, and you can see I really can't see that excess glue. So let's get started here. I'm going to start at the point, and I'm going to lay that down and stick that right in the point, bringing that paper on around. And I'm going to hold it here for just a minute and let that point get good and solid in there before I go ahead and go around the side. And that's one of the reasons why the tacky glue works so well. It gives you time to work with the side panel. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that on around. I'm going to move this just a little bit. Paper towel is not ideal for this. Okay, now that I've got it wrapped around, I'm going to hold it for just a little bit and let it set. I'm going to put pressure along the side, just like that. Now I would let this dry a little bit. Oops, paper towel, not ideal. I would let this dry just a little bit before proceeding. Maybe you could cut your top parts out while you're waiting for it to dry. It doesn't take long, but I would let it set. So I'm going to move to one that I already have done. Now that 5 inches, this being 5 inches, will give you just a little bit here to play with. Then you want to take your scissors and cut off what is longer than the point. So let's go ahead and snip that off. Okay. Now, once we have that, we're ready to do the other side, and we're going to do basically the exact same thing. I'm going to run glue along the edge, and I'm also going to put glue right on this edge and this edge. This will close up here and make it a tight fit. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to start that point in, and it's going to touch here the other sidewall, and I'm just going to go ahead and give that a little bit of pressure and hold it for just a little bit before I go ahead and wrap around the other side. And then I'm going to start going ahead and pushing that in and putting pressure on the sidewalls. Now, I want to make one correction here from what I said. I don't want to put glue on this edge. I actually want to put glue on the edge that's there. I apologize for that. Amazing how you forget what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off where I put the glue. Okay, and I still have good enough. And I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the edge that's already there. Okay, now I'm going to start wrapping this and putting pressure there on the point so that it will close. And kind of checking up here and make sure that it's still really sturdy. Yep, okay, that's looking really good. I'm going to clean off a little bit of the excess glue by just running my finger along the edges and taking some of that glue off. Make sure that's nice and tight, and then just run my finger in there and take off some of the glue. Okay. Now, I would let that dry for a little bit, and while that's drying, you can work on the top. You're going to do the exact same thing to make the top. So I already have a top done, and you can see I marked it so that I would know that that is the top. Once the top is made, you're ready to put on the little girl. And I would just put glue on the heart itself instead of the image. I'm just going to run some glue on here. And then place the girl, and I'm also going to turn her over, and this also gives me time to move the box lid around because I want to make sure that as much as possible I've got that lid kind of centered underneath her. Give it a good press. And then she is attached as well. Once you have that part done, you're going to want a little extra hangover on the bottom. The reason for that is that it's easier to grab a hold of that to open the box. If you don't have that little extra little bit sticking out on the side, it is really kind of hard to open the box. So what I did is I took a bottom and glued it to a piece of cardstock. Now, you can use just regular scissors to cut around the heart and make it a little bit bigger. Or if you have nesting heart dies, you could use the next bigger die to make the edge. If you have decorative scissors, you can cut around. And I do have scallop scissors. I don't think Fiskars makes these anymore, but there are decorative scissors out there that you could certainly use. And this makes just enough of a little ledge to grab a hold of. So I'm just going to take my decorative scissors and cut around the box, making that little edge that's easier to open. So once you have your top and your bottom ready to go, you can decorate it any way you wish. This one I've used a border from Fawn to put all the way around the edge. I also glued twine around the top, which I tied at the top and included some seam binding ribbon. Added a little tiny banner there. Just whatever you would want to do. And this makes a really nice little Valentine gift for anyone. So thank you for joining me. Remember, you can always find me at Shoo Shoo Paper Art.